Kirkman confirmed. Season 4 contains a show-original Hell story he always wanted to tell, completely outside the comics, built from scratch, years in the making. He also confirmed this episode plants 3 or 4 storylines that run through the show's entire future, not one thread. 3 or 4. It is not a detour. Everyone will be watching the Viltrumites. Kirkman will be planting the future underneath them, and the character at the center of all of it has been sitting in Hell since Season 1, waiting for exactly this moment. 8 things about Invincible's Hell episode that the show is not advertising. Let's go. Kirkman has said for years that he regretted never doing a Hell adventure in the original comic run. The Damian Dark Blood character was built specifically to open that door. A demon detective whose entire existence pointed toward an eventual underworld story. Then the comic ended. 22 years. Never got there. The animated series is Kirkman, finishing something he always meant to finish. Every scene in this Hell episode exists nowhere else. Not in the source material, not in any prior adaptation. This is original Invincible mythology being created for the first time. The audience and comic readers are on completely equal footing. Nothing has been spoiled, not by the comics, not by anything. Most channels are treating this like a genre detour. It is the opposite. It is the most deliberate creative expansion the show has made since Season 1. Kirkman spent decades saying he would get to it. Season 4 is him finally doing his own homework. Here is the homework you need before the episode drops. Fast version. Season 1, Damian Dark Blood. A demon detective is hired to investigate the Guardians of the Globe murders. He solves it. He correctly identifies Omni-Man as the killer before anyone else. Cecil banishes him back to Hell the moment he gets too close to the truth, because the last thing Cecil needs is a demon with that information walking around. Darkblood's final words before being sent back, a direct promise to Cecil. There is a worse place than Hell waiting for him. Season 3 post-credits. Darkblood resurfaces. Not on Earth, still in Hell, but in 3 seasons of exile, he has been busy. He has learned sorcery. He has found a spell that can drag a powerful surface dweller down into Hell so that his demon master can possess them and use their power to reclaim the infernal throne. He has a target. He has a plan. The demon detective who got banished for being right has spent 3 seasons in Hell building a way back. Most casual viewers watched that post-credits scene and forgot about it. The Hell episode is where the 3-season slow burn cashes in. Darkblood was never a minor character. He was a timer. In Season 4, the timer runs out. In Invincible, if someone disappears, they are either dead or getting a comeback. Darkblood got the comeback. When Kirkman was asked directly whether Bruce Campbell is voicing Satan in Season 4, his exact answer was, "Could be the devil. Could be. We will just have to see." That is not a denial. That is a man who knows exactly what he is doing with that casting, and has decided the audience should sit with the uncertainty. Bruce Campbell, the horror icon, the Evil Dead legend, the face of genre cinema for 40 years, voicing a character described as the Lord of Hell in a show original episode that Kirkman personally built from scratch. You do not make that casting decision for a background character. You do not make it for someone who appears in one episode and disappears. You make it for a character you intend to use for the long run. And Kirkman confirmed this episode plants 3 or 4 future storylines. A demon lord voiced by Bruce Campbell, who may or may not be Satan, sitting at the center of a Kirkman-written episode that seeds the show's entire future, is not a cameo. He is infrastructure. Kirkman refusing to confirm the character's identity is itself the most interesting information available. He is not being coy. He is telling you the answer matters enough to protect. Kirkman cast Bruce Campbell as maybe Satan in a show about a superhero whose father committed mass murder. The escalation is extremely on brand. Here is what matters about everything so far. This Hell episode is not a detour. It is Kirkman settling 3 seasons of unfinished business while secretly building the infrastructure for everything that comes after. The Viltrumite War is what the audience will be watching. The Hell episode is what Kirkman is actually constructing underneath it. Every segment from here is about what that means for the show you think you understand. Darkblood describes his target as a surface dweller with a blackened heart, whose power has not been seen on Earth in eons. Every casual viewer reads that and immediately lands on Mark. The show wants that assumption, but spend 30 seconds actually thinking about it, and the more interesting answer surfaces. The case for Mark, he is the most powerful being on Earth, has spent 3 seasons accumulating trauma and moral compromise, and right before the Season 3 post-credits scene explicitly states he is now willing to kill anyone who threatens the people he loves. A blackened heart. The show put that line there deliberately. The case for Cecil is more unsettling. 3 seasons of using Mark's dead variants as building material. 3 seasons of sending people to deaths for strategic advantage. And Darkblood made his personal promise to Cecil specifically in Season 1, not to Mark. Hell has been coming for Cecil since the first time he used authority as a weapon and called it protection. The show keeps this ambiguous deliberately. because the debate between those two answers reveals what you actually think about both characters. That debate will run through every comment section this episode generates, and here is why it matters. Beyond the debate, whoever gets possessed becomes a new category of threat, not stronger than Mark, closer than Mark. That is the thing Season 4 is hiding inside this episode. Dark Blood. I seek a surface dweller with a blackened heart. The entire supporting cast of Invincible collectively raises their hand. Every major threat in Invincible until this point has been fundamentally physical, stronger, faster, more willing to use violence without limit. Viltrumites, conquest, the multiverse. Every escalation asks the same question. What if the enemy hits harder than anything Mark has faced before? The Viltrumite War is the ceiling of that question. You cannot escalate beyond it by adding more power without the show collapsing under its own weight. Hell is a lateral move. It does not ask what if the enemy was stronger. It asks what if the enemy was inescapable, operating on a logic that punching cannot interrupt, drawing consequences not from outside Mark, but from choices he has already made. A demon who possesses people does not need to beat Invincible in a fight. He needs to find the person closest to Mark, whose heart has already done enough of the work. That is a completely different threat. Architecture, and exactly what Season 4 needs to feel like, evolution rather than a louder version of what came before. Mark can punch a Viltrumite into orbit. He cannot uppercut a consequence that is already inside someone he trusts. That is the most important sentence in this entire video. Kirkman confirmed the Hell episode plants 3 or 4 long-running subplots. He did not identify them. Here are the 3 types of threads this episode is perfectly structured to seed, and why each one changes the show permanently. If Kirkman follows through, the first hidden thread is Cecil's reckoning. 3 seasons of absolute moral impunity. Every ruthless decision filed away without consequence. The universe has never made Cecil pay. Hell is the show's consequence engine, and Cecil has been running a tab since Season 1. The question is not whether it comes due. The question is what form the payment takes. The second is the nature of death. In this universe, every character who has died in Invincible died without the audience understanding where they went. The Hell episode is the first time the show opens that door. That answer retroactively changes the weight of every loss the show has ever delivered and repositions every future death as a story that is not necessarily finished. The third is Mark's line, not where it currently sits, but where it is going. Hell finds the weakness already present rather than creating new ones. This episode will show you exactly where Mark's breaking point is before the Viltrumite War finishes its work. Kirkman buried the most important foreshadowing in Season 4 inside the episode. Most people will process as the supernatural detour. Kirkman treats foreshadowing the way other people treat breathing, constantly and without visible effort. Invincible has one identity rule. Whatever happens must feel grounded. Consequences must be real. The moment this show treats its own events as spectacle rather than consequence, it loses the thing that separates it from every other animated superhero property. Hell passes or fails on 3 criteria. It must cost someone something permanent, not a setback they recover from in 2 episodes, but a cost that changes what they are allowed to be going forward. It must fracture at least one relationship in a direction that cannot be reversed, and it must be traceable. Viewers need to point at later moments in Season 4 and identify the thread that started here. Dark Blood is the character this episode lives or dies on. 3 seasons building his return. If his promise to Cecil lands with real weight, the episode earns everything strange. It asks the audience to accept. If Dark Blood gets resolved cheaply, the entire Season 1 setup collapses. Kirkman knows that, which is exactly why he wrote this one himself. If Hell has side quests, we riot. This is Kirkman settling debts, not designing a dungeon. Watch for the first thing, what Hell offers each character who enters it. Hell works not by threatening people, but by showing them what they actually want. What someone accepts from Hell tells you more about who they are than any fight the show has ever produced. Watch for the second thing, what Mark refuses. He has been building a line he will not cross for 3 seasons. Hell is designed to make that line feel arbitrary, to show him a version of himself that already crossed it the moment he refuses. Not because he cannot have something, but because he decides who he wants to be is the most important character beat of his entire arc. It will not be loud. Watch for the quiet version. Watch for the third thing, Cecil. After this episode. Not before, after. Dark Blood promised Cecil a worse fate than Hell in Season 1. The show will not announce when that fulfillment begins. It will show you in the way Cecil hesitates where he used to move without thought. Small, early, easy to miss, the kind of thing that makes you rewatch. After this episode, you will be able to identify exactly who in Season 4 is about to break, because Hell does not create the fracture. It finds the one already there. 3 things. 1. This episode exists because Kirkman spent years regretting a story he never got to tell. Season 4 is him finishing it. 2. Dark Blood is not a minor character making a comeback. He is a 3-season revenge arc, quietly assembled since the moment Cecil sent him away. 3. The target with the blackened heart might not be Mark. The show is keeping that ambiguous because both answers change everything. Supernatural or stay sci-fi? Yes or no? And what would ruin it for you? Replying to every answer in the first hour. Every Season 4 breakdown before the rest of the internet figures it out. You already know what to do.